Wow, wow, wee, wow. Whoa.
My wife. Coming home Christmas Day.
So we're going to make this quick because we are about to film a reaction to Supernatural for Patreon. And then this news just started blowing up our notifications. Hollywood Reporter's talking about it. Variety's talking about it. Race Randolph tweeted about it. There's a whole bunch of people who have been talking about it because apparently Warner Brothers put up a trailer for Wonder Woman 1984, had it unlisted. In that trailer, it has this graphic right here on screen. In theaters and on HBO Max, December 25th, Christmas Day. They really are upping the game on competing here. And as I was editing the video, HBO Max released the trailer. It's official. It's actually happening. Holy moly. I mean, you got Soul coming out on Disney Plus that very day. Same offer, I think, where it's not no extra cost for subscribers. Mulan, they tried that with Disney Plus. Mulan, you had to pay extra money for in order to watch it, even if you already had a Disney Plus subscription. This here, HBO Max wanting to boost their numbers, putting Wonder Woman out here. There's a lot to factor in when it comes to this news story. Warner Brothers hasn't said anything about it because it sounds like a mistake occurred, or maybe they did that intentionally, as they're like, let's just see what people think about this, and then we'll go from there. let's see if people are for it or against it.
I could absolutely see them doing that kind of trial.
There's certain parts of the world where HBO Max is not yet available, so it makes sense to put it in theaters over there. Some parts of the world might not have the pandemic as heavily or as serious right now, putting it out in the theaters over there. That does make sense. And also with the fact of how HBO Max is becoming the go-to landing page for when it comes to DC-related content, whether they have a DC category there. That's how I watch all of Harley Quinn. That's how I watch all of Doom Patrol. And then they have all the movies going on there. They got the Snyder Cut coming out, supposedly maybe in just a few months early into 2021. So this could be a good train for them to keep on going. You know, you start with Wonder Woman 1984 as a big tentpole movie putting on HBO Max, and then you go into Snyder Cut a little bit later. Now the question comes down to like the personal biases here. There are some people who really want this to come out on HBO Max or just on video on demand. And gosh, the movie's an expensive ass film, and getting an HBO Max subscription is nowhere near as expensive as doing a video on demand. Or buying a ticket to the theaters. I mean, just doing a rental on like Amazon or something like that is more money than getting an HBO Max subscription. On top of that too, if you could just do a free trial on HBO Max for that day and then cancel it if you wanted to. That's the part of me that was going, well, if you're trying to get more subscribers, I get the idea of you get them to sign up for HBO Max so that way they watch Wonder Woman 1984 and maybe they browse around the catalog that we have and they go, you know what, I'm gonna keep HBO Max. That's kind of how I got suckered into it, and that's how I have it. And I'm having the same contemplation right now with YouTube TV. Doing my free trial and I'm like, maybe I do want to pay $60 a month
for linear television on YouTube.
The bias side in me doesn't want to experience this movie for the first time on HBO Max or on at home. Like, this is something where I really want to experience this the first time in the movie theaters. If that's the case, all right, I guess I'll watch it at home if it's not available at a theater within driving distance to me.
I mean, I'm super duper torn on this because, it is the kind of movie, and especially it is of a franchise that is one of the main ones you want to see in a theater. So, on one hand, I am sitting here going, small screen is not the way. Even on Christmas Day, it's more special, blah, blah, blah. But, it's not exactly the way I would want to see it. But then again, it truly makes me wonder because, as we're seeing right now, it's really hard to predict what this pandemic will do. Part of me, sympathizes with the studio in the sense that you can't just hold these things forever. And I wonder what's going to happen off the back of this decision, because again, Mulan, you could argue, is one of those canary in a coal mine moments where it's like, okay, that dam broke, and now what other movies are going to come out? But I feel like Wonder Woman 84 is an even more mega iteration of that conundrum, because now this is like their A-tier movie they have coming out for the new year, and now what else is going to come out on HBO Max on the heels of that, or any other streamers? I could see this being very easily a dam break moment that has a huge impact going going forward on just what it means to be playing in a theater at all when they should open. So
I think this could be huge, though. This could do great numbers because it's Wonder Woman 1984. It's a sequel. Like the discussion around Mulan, yes, while that is technically part of some weird franchise in a certain extent, because it's part of the Disney Mulan franchise.
And the Disney remakes franchise.
Yeah, but it's not a follow-up. You know, at the end of the day, it was like the first time doing this for Mulan, whereas this is a part 2. It's not this, like, for me, I'm still going to opt Black Widow should just wait. I'm still there because we've been waiting a long time for Black Widow to have a solo movie, so I'm still opting wait for that. For a part 2, though, for a really big, well-received film, this could rake in some serious viewership, though. It could rake in some serious viewership, but I'm also like, okay, is this why though? Why release this now? Like, why not wait? Is it to satisfy fans? Is it the business strategy of trying to get more people to go to HBO Max to compete within the streaming wars? Because reportedly, HBO Max's numbers are nowhere near the level they've wanted it to be at. To me, that seems like the main reason to do it. Is to get more people to HBO Max. But like I said, you could just get a free trial. And, you know.
And banking that gamble on a free trialable moment does seem like a very calculated risk because someone would have had to have brought that up.
I mean, you could do a free trial, and then what you could be really smart about doing is if you put the Snyder Cut out, it's not going to happen, but if you put it out in January, that way you're like, oh,
damn, I have to
stay pledged to HBO Max.
A month.
Yeah, I mean, that could be the way to do it. It really could be the way to do it.
Hey, and that's the thing is they've had all this time over the past several months to come up with strategies like these, or to at least, I would imagine, entertain these ideas that probably back then they were like, we'll never come to that. And now we might.
Yeah. Now, Wonder Woman in 1984 supposedly costs around like $200 million, which is a safe assumption, right? And then the marketing fees and all that. It does cost a lot of money, and I imagine this move will not make theater owners very happy because I know there's a lot of theaters right now who are obviously, it goes out saying they're struggling. Yeah. And I think they're like, when this is over, we can really recuperate a lot of money because there's a lot of big movies waiting to be released.
Got a hose that we're holding on to, and then we're just gonna let it all explode out when the world opens.
Like, this is creating a certain type of business chaos with a lot of, some discussions that come out in the trades and all that, but then a lot that I'm sure most of us are not hearing about. The thing with streaming services, like, you can share an account. You can also have multiple people in one room together. So if you want to recuperate all the money you invested into Wonder Woman 1984, the money that you're like, well, we'll make bank at the theaters, no problem.
Get 15 of your friends together, you've covered your subscription.
Is there a way? Yes, that's what I mean. Collect
$1.
How much have they factored this out to the point of, is it all just to get people to go to HBO Max? Because there's a big possibility that, of course, I don't doubt that it's going to get a significant amount of viewership.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm using the term viewership and not money because there's a way to really cheat the system that I think everyone knows about.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know anywhere near as much about how streaming money works as opposed to tickets, but it only makes sense to me that with a movie ticket, you got the money going through one movie's, like one chain through that movie and whoever the money goes to, whereas a subscription fee, there's a library, and they're not only going to watch Wonder Woman. So and how do they calculate that stuff? How does your viewership affect where your subscription money goes? And how do we tie that back to Wonder Woman, or is it just the sort of thing where it's like, well, we picked up 1 million more subscribers, so success.
And then there's this other part of the argument that's been being brought up that I'm not sure how much I feel for. I get it. I respect it. I'm not sure if my feelings are as strong about it as others are when it comes to this part. The pandemic's been getting pretty crazy. Again, like, it's been getting worse, especially where we live. Like, the numbers have skyrocketed.
It's because we keep testing.
Yeah. Like, they've gotten really bad. And there's that concern, though, that you put this out on streaming, that more people are going to gather together, form gathering, like what we were talking about, ways to cheat the system, that more people would gather, and then that just makes it all worse when, there's been a lot of talk about having this holiday season to make some sacrifices about not spending as much time with loved ones, or, you know, not really having those social gatherings, that encouraging this is a bad thing. And I'm like, well, Soul's already coming out, and if there was one movie for families to gather around, it would have been Disney Plus's Soul, and HBO Max does kind of need to compete right now. I'm just like, well, whoever was going to gather was already going to gather. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what the mentality is of most people to be like, you know what? I wasn't going to, but I could watch Wonder Woman on Christmas. Let's do it.
Let's get everyone
Let's
together.
get everyone together. You know, I don't.
Block party.
I don't know what the mentality is there. Maybe that is the case where most people are like, you know what? I wasn't gonna spend Christmas with anyone, but now I'm going to.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how I'm watching it. And can't really fight this anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's either the certainty of streaming or the uncertainty of everything else.
All right, guys. Well, do you care that this is coming out? Do you want it to come out on video on demand, HBO Max? Do you want them to just wait for the theaters? Leave your thoughts down below. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell. Hit the like button. Last but not least, Rosa Parra, the Wonder Woman of our Patreon page. Now, Rosa, as tough as 2020 has been, you've been kicking a lot of booty throughout the year, and I'm proud of all the hard work you've been putting in. And I do want to say to you and your family that I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. If there's one thing I'm grateful for this year, for sure, it's you. You've been a treasure in our lives, and I love the hell out of you. So, big part of my Thanksgiving will be in celebration for thanking you for being in our lives for such a long time. And I hope that when you're gathered with the family, you have an awesome dinner, you guys pig out, and that you guys don't get too nasty with one another, because you know how these family gatherings can be.
Yeah, awkward and uncomfortable, except when you're there to light up the room, Rosa, and to bring your insight and expertise, because, hey, I mean, you know your movies, you're active within your community, you're a role model to us all. Heck yeah, Rosa.
Yeah.
Love you.